up everyone? Welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, welcome to my channel. My name is Meg and I do put out videos a couple times a week, so make sure you hit the subscribe button and that way you won't miss out on any of my content. So today I do have a first impressions video for you along with a review, and I'm super excited about this product because I personally have really high expectations for it, and it is the new L'Oreal Infallible Pro-Glow Foundation. I certainly think I can speak on behalf of the beauty community here on YouTube, and we've certainly been loving everything that has to do with glow lately. So L'Oreal definitely picked up on that, jumped on the bandwagon, and came out with a Pro-Glow Foundation, which is amazing. So let's go ahead and get into what this product is. It says that it's up to a 24-hour foundation. And this has SPF 15, and it is a radiate finish for normal to dry skin and hydrating. So basically it sucked me in. I have extremely dry skin. Like, I get dry patches on my forehead all the time. So when I see a radiate, hydrating, and then a foundation with Pro Glow in its name, that just has my name written all over it. I did pick up the shade 203 Nude Beige, so we will see if it will work. It may be a little bit too dark. I was trying to match myself in the store to my tan because I don't really like my face getting tan, so I was trying to match it to the rest of my body. So we shall see. And then one thing that I really like on the back of this is that it has all the information about this foundation that you could possibly want to know, which is really convenient because then you're not having to go online to look up about this. So it says that it is a lasting glow foundation, never dull, never greasy. It says that it is a radiate finish, wear up to 24 hours. It's a medium coverage foundation. The texture is air light, and for pro tip it says to shake well, dot onto skin in rolling motion for flawless coverage. So it does sound quite liquidy. So to me, when it says to dot on in a rolling motion, that kind of just means to use a beauty sponge. I feel like that's probably the best way to apply this. And then for if you're using a brush, I would guess you would just like sort of apply it like that. So I'm going to apply half my face using my Real Techniques beauty sponge, and then the other half I'm using this Morphe M439 foundation brush. And I actually like using this because it covers a lot on your face. It really packs it on. I really like using this for the L'Oreal Cushion Foundation. So I did find this at Walgreens. I know they have it at Ulta. I would have preferred to go to Ulta actually, but the one by me just had like a re-grand opening and it was insane. So I took my chances at Walgreens. So I'm gonna go ahead and start to apply this. So this foundation is very runny, in case you couldn't tell. And then, by the way, I don't really have anything on my face other than moisturizers. I don't put a primer on because most days I don't really wear one. Some days I'll use the color correcting, the NYX color correcting CC cream, but I feel like my face isn't super red today. So this is definitely a little bit on the tan side for me. I probably could have gone with a paler shade, and that's okay because I do have this NYX Pro Foundation Mixer in white, so after today I will probably be incorporating this in. But just to get the true test and wear of the foundation, I didn't want to do that in case if this was too dark. So for today, my foundation is just going to be on the dark side. So that little bit did a pretty good job of covering the whole face area. So I definitely feel like you get a little bit more of a sheer coverage using the beauty sponge, and I'm sure this foundation can easily be built up. So I'm just going to go ahead and apply the other half with the brush. Alright, so I definitely got better coverage using the brush, and basically I just used patting motions all over, and once I felt like the foundation was nice and spread out, I just lightly went over in large circular motions to make sure everything was blended in nicely. You really don't need a lot of the foundation, and it does spread very easily and pretty evenly, so that's a plus. I'm just going to go ahead and add a little bit more coverage to the left side of my face and see how buildable this is. Alright, so it is definitely easily buildable, and just doing a little bit more with the sponge and blending it out gave me a flawless coverage. So either you can get away with doing one coat with a brush and just sort of like patting and then lightly rubbing it in, or you can go ahead and do like 2 layers with a beauty sponge, whatever you prefer. I actually feel like this cheek is covered a little bit better than this cheek, so I'm just gonna dot just a little bit more right there. So I do feel like you did get better coverage doing 2 layers with a wet sponge. But I mean, honestly, it's personal preference. Just know if you do use the brush, just sort of stipple it in and then lightly go over it. I think like that's gonna be the best bet for applying with a brush. So I am gonna go ahead and blend this down my neck so I don't look super ridiculous. Now that this has had a minute to set, it doesn't really feel sticky or anything. I feel like there would be like light transfer just because it was such a liquidy foundation. So you may need to set it, you may not. It just depends on your skin type at this point. Just know that there may be slight transfer. Okay, so now that I'm fully set with foundation, I really love the way that this applied. It applied very smooth, very easily, very blendable, and I do feel like my skin does have a nice radiance to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of my makeup and then check back in to see how products sit on top of the foundation. Alright, so I have the rest of my makeup on and I'm really happy with how my makeup is sitting on top of the foundation, especially my highlight. I think it looks super glowy. I think it's a little bit more noticeable than normal, but I also think that's because the foundation is a little bit darker than what my skin tone is, so I feel like my highlight's popping a little bit more. I do feel like the bronzer just sort of blended in really nicely. Again, it's not as noticeable or strong because this is a darker foundation color than what I've been using. I use the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And then my blush, I don't feel like it really stood out too much, but I can tell definition looking up in person. It's kind of hard to tell on camera. But I just feel like my skin does look radiant right now. The only thing is I do tend to get really dry patches up here and right here, and those are the areas where foundation doesn't normally look the best on me. If you are someone with dry patches, be careful applying a bronzer, because if I did have dry patches, when I put the bronzer on, I could easily just see it sticking to that area. Other than that, I do notice the foundation starting to settle into some fine lines, and I do think it did a pretty good job of covering up my giant pimple right there and covering up redness. And I did set half of my face. Sometimes I set my face with powder, sometimes I don't. So this side I did set with a translucent powder before I put my bronzer, blush, and highlight on. This side I did not. However, every day I always do set with the setting spray, so because that's how I normally wear my foundation, I'm going to go ahead and set my whole face. And this is the NYX Dewy Finish setting spray. Alright, so we are good. It is 1:22 in the afternoon, and I will be sure to check back in throughout the day. Alright, so it is now 6:16 p.m. So I've had this foundation on for about 5 hours. So I feel like that's been a pretty good wear time. It doesn't really feel gunky or anything on my face. Sometimes with thicker foundations, I could feel a little gunky after a couple hours. I don't really feel that. It doesn't feel necessarily super heavy for it being a medium coverage. However, just looking, I do notice that this side, like in my pore area, it does look a little bit more cakey on the side that I did set it with the translucent powder. However, with the side I didn't set, I do notice that it is starting to sort of gunk up right in the nostril area, and it's not so much doing that on this side. So for setting powder, I don't think you necessarily need it all over your face, unless if you have oily skin, then maybe you would. But for me, with my dry skin, I would probably only set it in areas I need it, like around my nose area, under my eyes, and then if I have any sort of acne spots. I will say that I don't really see a whole lot of redness sort of poking through my chin a little bit, but I also feel like I touch my chin a lot. Same thing with my nose. And then for this zit that I have right here, I have accidentally like touched it and scratched at it, and I feel like it's still pretty covered. So that was more so me than it was the foundation. So now I'm just gonna go ahead and do a transfer test really fast. So this is the side that's set, this is the side that isn't. See if anything transfers over onto this tissue paper. So this is completely clean from the side that was set with powder. And I feel like this side just has like the teensiest amount of transfer onto it. So not a whole lot, but there's some right there and then down here as well. So a little bit did transfer from the side that wasn't set. So basically just expect a little bit of transfer once you're wearing this foundation. So far so good. I feel like my highlight still looks really nice. I can still see where I put my bronzer. So far nothing is really sort of soaking up into the foundation and soaking into my skin, which is a good thing. I don't want to give away my exact location, but right now it is 109 degrees and the sun is going down, so it's actually cooled down a little bit. So I will say that this does hold up in very hot heat. Like I've been sweating like on and off throughout the day because I've been running around, and the foundation doesn't feel like, it feels a little sticky, but I mean, I feel like it still looks pretty great for me sweating a lot today. I'm going to go ahead and check back in at the end of the night. All right, so it is now the end of the night. It is almost 11 o'clock. And I've had this foundation on for a little over 8 hours, which I feel like is a normal, typical wear of foundation. And so far, I've really enjoyed wearing this today. It does feel a little bit sticky on my forehead, like areas where I've sweated. But other than that, it hasn't felt annoying or heavy to wear. I do think that it has sunk in my skin a little bit. Like I can notice my pore areas a little bit more, definitely more buildup around this nostril. So I would say that the side that I powdered has held up a little bit better than the side that I haven't powdered. However, with that being said, I feel like my highlight is still noticeable, which I'm pretty impressed with, and I can still see the bronzer that I applied. So to me, that says that like the foundation didn't eat my makeup and like my face didn't eat the makeup, which is always a good thing. Everything stayed in place really well. I'm pretty impressed. Normally at the end of the day, my redness peeks through in the cheek area and it's not red whatsoever. So that is pretty spectacular for me. As far as flash photo goes, there is a little bit of a cast back, but I think that's to be expected because there is SPF in the foundation. However, I thought that it photographed beautifully. So in my opinion, it has passed the flash test. I would say that you would just need to do some cover up during the day if you have areas that you touch, like your chin. So foundation has worn off a little bit on my chin area and then on my nose as well. So if you do carry like a powder foundation, that might be something good to have because it's not really that bad or that noticeable unless if you're like really staring at the spots. So overall, I would really recommend this foundation if you want something that is going to provide you good coverage, that's buildable, and that works really well on like super dry skin. I will say that I am looking like a little bit shiny like on the forehead area and stuff like that, but I mean, it truly is a radiant looking foundation, which I think is absolutely amazing. I think this is going to be my new favorite. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found the review helpful, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!